y'all. Sexy Mama's podcast is back. Hopefully you guys checked out last week, literally just last Saturday. We had an amazing guest, Miss Shay Brianna, on the podcast, y'all. Make sure you guys are sharing this podcast because I think we get into some really, really deep subjects that could help somebody. It can help a lot of people.
Yeah.
So I'm just excited to be back right here, Coco Laud, COCOLAUD. Okay, so because you're my first guest and my good friend,
yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna ask you: do you know the definition of a sexy mama?
The definition of a sexy mama,
yes,
is someone who knows her worth.
Amen.
Okay, one who walks in it, who strives in it.
Yes.
A woman who is not afraid to learn,
right,
but knows how to teach them.
Okay.
I mean, there's so many definitions because there's so many aspects of a sexy mama.
So, literally, guys, she hit the nail on the head. Sexy Mamas podcast is about all those sexy mamas out there that are literally doing the damn thing. That's pouring into themselves so that they have something to pour into other people.
Right.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Maybe you grew up, check to check. But now that you came up, now you set aside some savings and make sure that your kids have something.
Absolutely.
That should be considered sexy.
That's so
I'm just
sexy.
saying. You know what I'm saying? If you meditate, if you pray, if you exercise, if you work out, if you're taking care of yourself so that you can be available to others, that is what it's about. Today's show actually goes a little bit deeper into what you shared last week.
Yeah.
And so recap just really quickly for the people who did not tune in last week, but it was such inspirational story about going through something, trials and tribulations, and then finding joy on the other side, y'all. Miss Shay Brianna, I don't know how to tell you how much your story resonated with a lot of people. I seen it in the comment section. So let's just continue down that path. What did you specifically kind of want to cover today?
I basically really wanted to talk about the manipulation parts of things, and I believe a sexy mama is mentally healthy.
Oh my gosh.
And you can be mentally healthy and be manipulated at the same time.
Well, that part.
Yeah, so I want to touch on exactly like maybe some things that I went through that were manipulative.
That maybe you didn't know at the time.
Nah, I didn't know at the time. I want to share it with you guys because you might know someone, or maybe you see some things going on in some situations and you're like, you know what,
I'm not really sure.
Yeah.
So you were in a marriage.
Right.
And it was abusive.
Right.
In more ways than one.
In all the ways.
Well, and I'm not laughing at that. But it's just how she responded all the ways. I'm like, dang, girl. Okay.
People always say, we take things so lightly. And no, it is a very, 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 very serious matter.
Yeah.
Because I wasn't laughing when it was happening.
No, but you know what? But you kind of were, because you'd be telling me something, and then I'm like, this girl's laughing.
Yeah.
And it took me a while because different, people use different means to cope.
Yeah.
And I felt like your laughter was one. It was like a coping mechanism.
Yeah,
like it helped you get through it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why even last week we were talking joy on the other side. I'm like, I felt like you never lost it.
Mm-hmm.
We talked about how it wavered.
Yeah.
But you never completely lost it. So we're going to talk about the importance of mental health. We're going to talk about manipulation and domestic violence this episode. And we're just going to go a little bit deeper. Now, you had some stats for me that I found very alarming.
Mm-hmm.
What were they?
That 24% of cases go unreported. That's a lot.
Are they talking about physical abuse?
I think just in general.
Okay.
I think mainly, maybe so, maybe. But the cases of domestic, violence.
Yeah.
But they categorize violence as the physical and the mental and the emotional.
Yeah.
And all of that because if you're controlling someone, if you're manipulating, manipulation is a form of control. So if you're doing something out of someone's own control, then to me that's violent. Yeah, that's violent.
Yeah, you're violating them.
Yeah, you're violating them.
Literally, you're violating them.
Right.
So, wow, that's a lot. You said 24% go unreported.
And about 1,300 cases per year in.
Okay, that's. I mean, you guys, that's. Man, I would say if it's happening to you or a loved one, I think that you need to be aware of it.
Yeah.
And then, man, it's so difficult to navigate this because some people act like they don't want to know. Like they don't like if you tell them the obvious.
Right.
So that may not be the best approach to just tell them the obvious. Maybe it's something subtle like, do you need anything? Like, how are you feeling? Because I know a lot of people be like, how are you? And everyone's like, I'm fine. But I think saying, how are you doing versus how are you feeling, I think those are two totally different things. Because you could just say, I'm fine. Like, we've just been programmed to say, I'm fine. But if you ask somebody, how are you feeling? Then they'll be like, okay, maybe they're giving me a pass to actually say, you know what, I feel crappy. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, I don't, you know what, it's all right. And that's okay, I think, just to recognize it. So, as you're going through this relationship, this marriage, how and when did you first realize this manipulation?
Oh, that's a really good question. I think basically when it got to the point, because I'm basically like a free spirit, but like I follow directions. Like, so not to be funny or like decide directions, but like a man can tell me what to do. Yeah, he can tell me what to do. Yeah, if he can tell me what to do. Right. But if he can't tell me what to do, then he can't tell me.
Okay, so what makes you trust? What makes you trust somebody's word when they're telling you what to do then?
So you have to watch their mannerisms, their leadership. It's just like you could just tell. And I think a lot of stuff was maybe like a facade in the beginning until we got really deep into it. And I've never seen this before on this level. I was like, I told him, I was like, you need to go to acting because like the way you kept this for so long, like I believed a lie for so long, and that was scary, right? Because with me, like what you see is what you get. Yeah. And but that's just how deep. That's the depths of the manipulation.
But do you feel like you just wanted to hold out hope, right? Because you probably saw flags. Right, and were you just oblivious to the flags, or he had a good explanation for the flags? So I feel like as women, we have this intuition, and so we feel like, I'm not sure, like that didn't sit around, like I'm gonna have to watch that. No, did you ever have that? Yeah. So you knew?
Yeah, because I'm big on taking responsibility for or accountability, and sometimes you just kind of like. Let things
let it slide.
But that's where mental health comes in.
So, but he had good reasons for why, like to justify
literally,
and they're believable.
Everything. Yes, until it wasn't. It very much so in the beginning. Very much so in the beginning. It made perfect sense. I was like, oh, okay, like.
Yeah, because you're like holding out hope, like okay, this is my partner now, and. Yeah. I have to trust him, right, and believe him.
And it was, I don't know if I ever shared this with you. I think I have, but like, especially like in the beginning, it was like long distance, so it was easier for him to tell me anything. Yeah. In the beginning, until like we got closer and
and living together,
cohabitating, and so I think that's definitely when I started to see. First of all, I don't think that men should raise their voices at women. I really don't. And I'm like, I can hear you just fine in a regular tone. And again, like I listen very well. I hear you clearly. So I think that just as far as like a man and being a leader and everything like that, those were like the things in the beginning where I was like, Yeah, I don't know if I like that, but
yeah,
I invested in this relationship, so I'm gonna stay here.
yeah.
And there was no, like, evidence of like any type of like abuse at that time. Like I didn't know it was him manipulating me like that in this time. I just knew that, oh, you know, that maybe that behavior was like a little unhealthy, but that was just like a little situation. So it'll pass over. You know, we'll get through that or whatever.
So, like how, and you don't have to give exact examples, but when you talk about manipulation, how deep did it get? Like was it something where it was like, they this person said you can't talk to this person on the phone, you can't see this person, you can't go see your family, and these are just examples. Absolutely. So I'm just curious, like what did you see?
All of that. Yeah, like okay, so location always had to be on. If I didn't pick up my phone, he's on like 100 times.
100 times.
100 times.
In a span of what?
In a span of maybe an hour. I remember I was at work one time and he called me 50 times in like 10 minutes.
But he knew where you were because I'm sure you probably, your location was on.
My location was on, but if I didn't answer the phone, then it was a problem.
But how could you answer the phone if you're at work?
That part.
Okay.
Yes, like pick a side.
Yeah. No, I mean, I'm trying to break it down so people understand what we're talking about. We're not talking about this loved one who's saying, I want to make sure that you're safe. We're talking about somebody who's saying, have your location on, answer the phone when I call you. And I don't know if this is the words being said, but this is what it sounds like. Answer the phone. I don't care if you're at work. It doesn't matter where you are. Right. Answer my call.
It's very assertively and aggressively. And like it didn't matter. It didn't matter if
I
was gonna lose my job.
If you didn't answer your phone, was it assumed that you were cheating? Because I'm trying to understand, why would this person need for you to answer the phone every single time they call? What was to be assumed?
So if I was at work, then no. But if I was anywhere else, absolutely 1,000% yes. Yeah, absolutely.
Like, I mean, how did that make you feel when you're at work and I guess I should ask this question before I ask this one.
Okay.
If you didn't answer your phone, what would happen when you got home?
So it depends on the case by case. And have you ever heard that saying, like, if you can't beat them at their game, join them? So in the interim of me like learning him, I began to manipulate too. So like I would do stuff like, if it was really bad, I would not go home, which created another issue. Yeah, right. But then like I literally would sleep in my car, and but of course it's like I'm cheating. What man was I with? Where was I? But I just knew like it was gonna be bad. Yeah. So I literally would sleep. I literally slept in my car for maybe definitely 3 days in a row, and it was in the winter time on the East Coast. It was cold.
Yeah.
So yeah, I would just try to create distance, and then.
I mean, did it help when? I mean,
that's what I'm saying. So in those times, it helped because
you kind of got over it.
Yeah, and I kind of got over it, but he would be like, okay, well, I need her here. So then he would like calm down. It was like a sick mental game. But one time specifically, I remember him waking me up at like 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning. And he was like rubbing my feet, and I was like, I'm asleep. And he's like, but you're up now. And I'm like, but I was asleep. Like, and it was some events that were important to him at the time. That was around that time frame, and something going on with family and stuff like that. So he's like, do this for me. And I'm like, no. So we're going back and forth. I literally had to get up, get dressed, and run out the house. And at this time, that particular time, my car was no more. So I'm like Ubering everywhere. Yeah. And I had to turn off my location. And I went like down to the corner, like bodega or whatever. And I was like, I need to call my Uber. I was asking, like, can I hide right here? Like, when he comes down here. And I literally took an Uber to the casino because I knew that was the only thing that was open 24 hours. I had no family. Yeah. At that point, like, my money is so funny. Like, it was all gone. Like, you know, dealing with him, it was like putting money in with the pockets with the holes.
Yeah.
I just sat in the casino like all night. I was so tired. And then when I got back, it was bad. That time it was really bad, and I was only gone for not even 24 hours. But that time it was the worst. Yeah.
Now again, only share with whatever you're comfortable with, but we just really wanted to bring light to the situation because unfortunately 24% of cases like this goes unreported. So it's happening to people, to the friends, to the loved ones. If you were to answer the phone, after the 50th time, what would that conversation be like?
I mean,
was it a conversation? Was it one-sided? Like, could you get I can only imagine.
Yeah.
But what was that? Because we know what happens. You're like, okay, I'm not coming back. He's, over the top. But if you did answer the phone and was like, I'm at work, or they called me in, or I just want to hang out with my friend, like, what was those conversations like?
Yeah, definitely one-sided, cursed out. I've been called everything. All the names I've been called.
Yeah.
It is just, that's when the verbal abuse would just escalate. And then the threats, because that's the manipulation, and the part of the manipulation is to perpetrate fear. So, the threats on my life, the threats of what he would do.
Yeah.
Not even to just me, my family. All of those things were a product of,
So if he was, or in those times that he was threatening your life, your family's life, you probably stayed. And I'm guessing, I'm assuming that would make you feel like you need to stay.
Oh yeah.
So that's
funny that you said, because we never talked about this.
We never talked about this.
Like, absolutely, like, because I know that, like, certain people, and I lost friends behind this. But like some people were like, why are you still with him? And it's like, because I feel like if I just
you need to protect your loved ones.
Right. Yeah. Because I feel like it would be better for me to just deal with this than to, bring him in to the, because they're already there. He's already calling everybody. He was so disrespectful. He's sent very inappropriate text messages to my dad and my son, and like all about.
So
control.
Was that that seemed like that was a tactic to discredit your character?
Yeah.
Right. Like that was literally just trying to. I think about like in a court system, and they try to like discredit a witness.
Right.
And that's what it seemed like.
Yeah, he always be like, see what she's doing and stuff like that. Well, it's like, well, why wouldn't my husband have a photo of me in his phone? Like, that's weird. That's
so
strange.
he's trying to use that as a way to justify like you're not as good as you say you are because he has this photo of you, and you guys were married.
Yeah,
so of course.
He even went into my friends list on social media and sent somebody some stuff. I'm like, you don't even know this girl. Why would you send that to her?
Right.
And so like for a moment of time, I know I had deleted my social media. Then I like went and unfollowed everybody because I didn't want him to like go looking through my friends list. Like, okay, let me see who she's following. So it was just crazy. It was crazy.
So in this whole manipulation side of it, right? Where was it, or was there a specific moment in time where you felt like I'm done with this relationship?
Well, I feel like I went through cycles. Yeah, because it was like, first of all, when I first was like, oh no, it's time to go.
Yeah,
it was probably like maybe like 2 months in from us actually like living together, and I was like, something was wrong here.
Yeah,
I was like, no, it's time to go. But then it's like he smooth, and later I found out what it's called. It's called the honeymoon phase. Where you like smooth things over, and then he's like, oh, come here, oh, come here, buttering me up and everything like that. I'm like, okay. And then like a couple of months go by, and
it was good.
And then there was another blow up after a couple of months, and then they just the time kept on getting like smaller and smaller. That's what it. That's what it was. But you know, looking back, I definitely feel like I could have learned my lesson if I had left the first time.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like, that's one thing I want to tell people. Like, don't ever second guess your
intuition, that feeling. Yeah.
Like if something doesn't feel right, it's because it's not.
Yeah.
And you know, so I battled with myself because I was like, well, you made this move, like, you know.
So there's probably some self-blame.
Yeah. So like after, I don't know who I forgave first, him or myself. But both in the interim today, both were forgiven. Okay, both were forgiven. But yeah, I definitely had to be like, girl.
Yeah.
You know, like this is extreme. And then.
So now that you, and I'm gonna just pinpoint that one thing. So you did forgive him.
Oh yeah.
So how does that feel? Because a lot of people, they hold on to things and it literally changes the trajectory of their whole entire journey when they don't let things go. So, I mean, just, you know, in a few sentences or whatever, walk us through what that meant to forgive him.
Forgive him?
Yeah.
I don't hold grudges. So, for me, it meant just freeing me of the hold that someone might think that they have over me. So yeah, I just like somebody can do something to me, like maybe something that was done maybe like a week ago, and it's like I may not even remember it.
Yeah.
Because my like I have to protect my heart, and I don't want that in my heart.
Right.
So, but it's like I forgive you,
but you can't do that again.
So it's like I forget how it feels, but I remember what you did.
Yeah. Okay.
So I forget the pain. I don't feel the pain. That's why even sometimes, like right now, like even talking about it, like I almost have to like go back to maybe how I felt in that moment.
Yeah.
Too, because it doesn't make me sad anymore. It doesn't make me cry anymore because, like I said, I forgive the way he made me feel. You know?
Now, when you say you forgive, does that mean that you wish him well?
I don't wish him anything.
Oh.
Who?
I thought you was gonna be like, yeah, I wish him well. Right in his healing, right?
I hope he does.
Right.
I hope he doesn't do this to someone else. But I mean, I'm a realist. Like that's not realistic. Because like he already showed me like before we were even done, he was already in something else. So that's out of order right
So
there.
let me ask you a question. When they say hurt people, do you believe that that's true?
Yeah.
So at some point in time, he's dealing with some trauma that he never got over.
And remember, like I was his wife.
Yeah.
I was.
Right.
So I know.
Yeah.
You know, that's nothing I would ever disclose to him.
Right. We're not talking about this person, but I'm just saying underneath that, you know, hurt people. I'm just wondering, do you feel like he was hurt and that's kind of he's lashing out maybe, or
absolutely. And I think that's where, you know, you're not like everyone has a past, right? But it's like you have to take responsibility for where you are in that moment. So that's where therapy comes in.
Yeah. That's
where meditation comes in.
Prayer.
That's where prayer. That's where talking to someone, you know, having a mentor, having an accountability partner.
Yeah.
Like you have to do your work, you know. So.
Right. I mean, that self-care, that self-work. And that's why I tell people, I'm like, even, you know, talking to a therapist or something, talking to a friend, journaling, that's supposed to be so cathartic. I mean, y'all, like, whatever that you're dealing with, like, it's not your responsibility to hold on to that baggage or that pain or that trauma. Like, that's not your job. Like, you need to give it to somebody bigger.
Right.
So even writing it down and then burning it, right? Because you be like, okay, if I write it down, what if somebody finds it? rip it up.
Yeah.
Literally, write it down and rip it up. You need to get it
released
out of you.
Yeah.
And I think that comes in so many different forms. Like, some people cry, some people laugh. You know, some people are angry and they go into their garage and they throw things. I say garage because I'm hoping it's in the garage and not in the house and you're making this mess. But if that's what it takes,
yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, by any means necessary.
Yeah.
Except hurting other people. Don't do that.
No, don't do that.
But I'm just saying, if it means that you need to take it out on, you know, I don't know, cutting up a shirt. Or, you know, throwing a dish. Like,
or dance it out.
Dancing, look, you got better. Because I'm like, just throw the plate.
Yeah.
Not in anybody's head.
Right, no.
Against the wall. That nobody's standing against. You know what I'm saying?
Smash room.
That's what I'm saying. There are the smash rooms, you know, and just being able to know that, man, you could go through something, but you don't have to look like it. You know what I'm saying? And so that's a beautiful thing. So I thank you for going a little bit deeper in this part 2 of really detailing, like, what that manipulation looked like for you, what it felt like, in hopes that other people don't have to go through what you went through. Right? So that they could recognize it early, and they could find a way out. In finding your way out, and we kind of talked about this the last show, it was kind of like, it was baby steps for you to be able to build yourself back up, to be able to get things that you didn't have before, in order, you know, to get another job, to get, you know, feel comfortable going back out in public. Yeah. There was some time that you're in the house, rightfully so, right? And
inside.
And so, but now, you know, how you feeling now? Tell everybody how you feeling now.
I feel good now. I feel like inside.
Well, that's okay. You can be, it's cold outside. It's cold outside.
I still like inside.
But I mean, you're getting out and you're having a good time and you're you know, just enjoying your life. And I think that's what's most important, because it is not until you're older that you realize how important joy is.
Yeah.
And your peace is worth fighting for.
It's priceless.
I'm trying to tell you, like, if they start messing with your peace and your joy, like, you need to rethink everything. Right. Because that stuff is priceless. Yeah. And so, I just want to thank you for coming back on today. Oh. Like, that resiliency, we're going to have to shake back. We're going to be talking about other subjects. You know what I'm saying? We got this couch over here y'all can't see. We got this couch over here. That means there can be multiple sexy mamas just sharing their story, trying to help somebody else. Yes. That's really what it's about, trying to help somebody else. Joy on the other side.
This here for the sexy mamas. You a sexy mama, you lit. Don't let them tell you nothing different, you it. Financially educated, getting rich. Sexy mamas come in all different type of flavors. Tell them take a pic. Sexy Mamas Podcast. Sexy Mamas Podcast.